I'm Georgie Gulliver, England rugby player and play for Lichfield Ladies.
And I'm Vicky Fleetwood, also England rugby player and at Lichfield Ladies too.
I've been playing for Lichfield now for this will be my 4th season. And I got my first cap for England in 2007, so quite a while now.
And I've played for Lichfield since the start of playing for seniors, so from the age of 18. So I'll be going into my 6th season this year. And I got capped for England for the first time 2 years ago this summer.
Okay, yeah, so I work with Mr. Richards in theatre at the Northampton Three Shires. He's always been really enthusiastic about rugby. I think it's kind of quite mutual. I ask him loads of questions about what he's doing in theatre and surgery and different patients he has coming in, and he has lots of questions for me about rugby and fitness testing and ice baths and all sorts. He likes to know all the details about what we're doing in training and stuff. He's always been really supportive of England rugby, like the next games that are coming up, and Lichfield as well, with the start of our season in September. And he very kindly offered to sponsor us as Lichfield players for the start of this season. So yeah, I'm really appreciative of him.
I'm doing like personal training and coaching at the moment. So yeah, I've just come back from touring with England for 6 weeks, so I'm not actually working at the moment, which is why I've been able to come here today.
Taking some time.
Yeah. So just getting back into that.
Well, like we were saying before, we're not actually professional with England, so any sponsorship or any help that we can get throughout the season is really awesome. So picking up sponsorship from Aurora Medical will really help us this season with our memberships, fees, and it also pays for our insurance to play throughout the season as well. I have actually recently. I'm just coming back from, I had a hip arthroscopy 2 months ago now, so I've just been going through a lot of rehab, a lot of gym work, a lot of kind of learning how to run again properly and things like that, which has been quite testing this summer, but I'm looking forward to being fit and starting the season in September, so yeah.
And before I went away, I found out that I had no ATFL anymore in my ankle. So I had to rehab that, and obviously in time maybe might need surgery depending on obviously how it goes for the next season or so. And I've got a bit of a dodgy finger.
Yeah,
that needs sorting out at some point.
So we've got lots of exciting things coming up for England this season. We've got autumn internationals, which will be starting in November. Yeah, beginning of November. We've got a test confirmed against France, which will be at home at Twickenham Stadium, which is really cool. We're also playing Canada at Allianz Park, which is the new Saracens ground. And then it's a really exciting year for us, because then we'll go straight into the Six Nations. So it'd be England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, France. And then that takes us into World Cup year for us. So we've actually got the World Cup, which will be this time next year, which will actually be held in Paris. So that's really exciting, and that's pretty much what everyone's like building for and training for at the moment.
Yeah, because selection comes out in the next few months as well, and then training starts as a squad come January.
Yeah. So it's really competitive for positions and for spots and stuff like that. There's kind of 3 or 4, 5 people all going for like 1 or 2 spaces. So this time of year, everyone wants to be out on the pitch and playing well, so that you're in the selectors' mind come kind of January, when they're going to be looking at a World Cup squad.
Well,
fingers crossed. There's lots of games and lots of opportunities for us to play between now and kind of January. So it's dependent on loads of things really, like staying fit and injury wise, but as well, you've got to be performing week in, week out for your club. So we need to be playing well for Lichfield from now up until Christmas. And then performing internationally as well. So it's a big ask, but we wouldn't be doing it if we didn't want to be in that World Cup squad.
And I think Six Nations will be a big opportunity for a lot of people to put their hands up and say, pick me.
Yeah, I'm good enough. So that'll be our last thing before the World Cup, won't it? So it's kind of like your last opportunity to get yourself selected. Yeah, definitely. We were really lucky having London hosting the Olympics last year. Female sport just went massively up, so that's kind of across the board as well. And although rugby wasn't in the Olympics, we've just had a massive kind of influx of players that want to be involved in sport. So we're really, really lucky, and they've actually just announced that rugby sevens is going to be in the next Olympics in Rio, like 2016. So that's kind of a huge talking point at the moment.
So it's played on the same size pitch, but only with 7 players, not 15. It's a really fast-paced game. You're pretty much sprinting for the whole of it in attack and defence, and you play 7 minutes a half, apart from in a final when you play 10 minutes each half, and you get like a minute at half time. So it's a very quick-paced game, and it's sort of the fastest, fittest, most skillful players that play sevens.
It's kind of really a high-intensity game. So it's rugby but compressed. So it has like smaller amount of people in line-outs and scrums and things like that. But it's pretty much the same in every other aspect.
But for the men's, they're like totally different squads. Yeah. So the England men's sevens, none of those play England 15s, whereas our 15s players do play sevens. Yeah. So there was, how many was there? 17 players got funded for the World Cup sevens, and they all play 15s
as well. So it's a tough ask, because the 15 season normally runs from kind of September to April, and then the 7 season will kind of kick in over the summer. It's more of a summer sport. So for those girls that are involved in both, it's pretty much playing all year round. Which is kind of like a big ask. It's pretty tough on your body, and like trying to recover and things like that. But so. Yeah, again, because of the Olympics and because now it's going to be in Rio in 2016, they're trying to put a lot more sevens on TV, and I think they find that they get a lot more people watching it because it's more fast-paced and there's a lot more going on. And like you said, it sounds like exciting. They get a lot of people that maybe have never watched rugby before or will watch it and think, oh, this is really good. So that's kind of, you get people generated from sevens quite a lot.
A lot of the like international women's sides now for sevens are being paid as well. So Canada, it's just come out that New Zealand are going to get paid.
Holland.
Yeah, Netherlands are full time. I think France were going to select a squad to go full time, and that's obviously with the view of like Rio 2016 being their goal. They're all going to be getting money for them to be training full time.
Playing in the Olympics would be amazing. That's kind of like a huge dream, and like getting a gold medal and stuff like that. But I think for both of us, our heart's in 15s. So for us, the equivalent is that World Cup. So it'll be August next year that we're kind of building towards. No, we get that a lot. You're quite often hit with the stereotype that you're going to be this big 20-stone woman, like with like cuts and scars and all sorts, like over your face and stuff. But this is quite typical that all the girls are pretty feminine in our squad. Obviously, we play quite a rough game, but outside of it, everyone looks after themselves, and are actually quite girly when it comes down to it. So
I think over the last few years, definitely the stereotypes changed a lot, and I think that's helped with like more people watching and being like, oh, actually,
yeah, definitely.
They don't look how I thought they were going to look, and they're actually quite skillful. A lot of people that have stayed behind from the men's games that have come to watch us have all been quite impressed, actually.
Yeah, they realise that we actually play like quite an exciting brand of rugby, but I think they're also impressed that we're just kind of normal looking girls at the end of the day. So it's probably helped with the male followers out there. I'd say it's different because like just as women, it's a fact that we can't kick as well or as far as the men. So it's kind of goes back to like an old-fashioned game of men's rugby where the ball's in play quite a lot more. So as a viewer, that's a lot more exciting because we're not playing the kind of like ping pong.
Yeah.
Tennis game. That's what I meant to say. Ping pong. Yeah, so it's kind of not like to and fro with the kicking. That like obviously we kick and we kick tactically, but we keep the ball in play a lot longer. So kind of there's a lot more like running with the ball in hand as opposed to like kicking for territory and things like that. Maybe not 6'10", but I mean like rugby's an awesome sport because it's kind of everyone can play it. So I'm normally one of the kind of the smallest players on the pitch when I play, which is quite typical of my position as a scrum half. But then so you come up against some quite big ladies.
Yeah, I'd say in the front row. So even in like international games, some of the like South African girls were rather large. But like I think England as a nation, like our international squad, we're quite small, aren't we? But I think like in the Premiership, you do come across some bigger girls, definitely.
Bigger girls, yeah. And then you've got like the second row, which is the position on the pitch where you need when you need height. So you know there's girls that are kind of pushing 6 foot and things like that. So to be good at their position, they need to be tall. So there's kind of like a position for everyone that wants to get involved in rugby, like that everyone can play no matter of kind of size or height or anything like that. But yeah, so our England forwards, I would say, are pretty athletic as a nation. We're quite lucky because they've got the size, but they're actually very athletic with it. So they're a bit scary. Try and stay away from them. Yeah, well, basically I work with Mr. Richards in theatre. I'm looking to do my ODP training starting this September. At the moment I kind of do a bit with orthopaedic consultants, ENT, gynae, a bit of everything really. But to be honest, I'm not just saying it, but I do find working with Mr. Richards like very interesting. Like the different operations and things that he does is really, I find really interesting.
So the plastic surgery?
Yeah, definitely. Everything like from kind of the breast augmentations, abdominoplasties, and facelifts and things like that. Like the end results that people get is really, really good. So I've been working with him probably for the last year now. And I'll be going off in September to do my training, but it would be really good that once I'm qualified, in the future I could end up possibly working as part of his team like a little bit more. That would be awesome. We were talking about this in the car. We're kind of a bit indifferent really, but obviously we were saying before that the game we play is pretty rough. A lot of the girls end up with broken noses, cuts and scars on their faces, just little things that you don't want to be there forever. So the option to have it kind of fixed and sorted out when we finish playing rugby is really cool. Like the fact that, you know, it doesn't have to always be like that. Like it's definitely an option when we may be thinking about retiring.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't say never.
Yeah, I wouldn't say never, exactly.